Hey, Thomas Bartke here with another video for the Artisan Sound channel. And in this video, I want to teach you something or make you aware of something that is a very advanced topic. So I'm not hoping that you'll pick this up and immediately master it just from watching this video, but I want to just introduce you to a problem that you run into frequently in mixing musical sound or sound for music production live shows. And as you become more aware of the problem, you might then train yourself and figure out how to create the solution for it. And I'm going to show you my solution, and you can see if you like that, or if you would like to do it this way, or if you have other ways to solve the same issue. So the problem here is, I'm going to play a little bit of this recording. It's from Freaky Friday. It's towards the end of the show. So in this scene, we're coming out of a loud ending of a musical piece, and then there's a moment of just kind of wondering what happens, and then new music starts, and it's very tender and gentle and quiet, but then the actors need to start singing right away on top of that. So I let you listen to this little transition here for a moment and see if you can spot what the problem is. Here's the loud ending. Here's a little dialogue. Now listen.
What if this means today's now every day, and I'm stuck like this forever? If I had known, I never would have wished the way I did. I want to stay a kid and not a grumpy grown-up with these wrinkles and this stress, the pressure and that pleasure. Oh my gosh, it's such a mess. I never even got to see life flash before my eyes. It just went away.
So there, that's it. So what happened here is the music came in, a little bit of rhythm, and then just kind of lying there, and the actor had to sing. Then the music had another few little impulses with a little bit of rhythmic structure that let you know where the beats are, and then was just kind of sitting there again, and the actor had to sing again. And then the music then transitioned to where it had a little bit more ongoing structure, and the singing had to continue. Then the music had this is called the tremolo on the strings, this that type of sound, and it continued from there. And from there on out, particularly, it's very, very difficult for the singer to even be able to distinguish the rhythmic structure and where the beats are in that music. So it's very difficult from that type of music, from that texture of the musical track, to pick up reliably where your tempo is and where in the tempo you are within each bar. So because, and that problem is exacerbated when the music track is played very quietly. So that means you have to play the music louder for the singer to be able to hear it properly. Then you might want to play it for the audience. For the audience, it would be nicer if the music could stay real subtle and gentle, and they could still sing at the louder level, and the music would just gently support that and then leave room for that climax that comes in the music and builds up later. But we can't do this without confusing the singers and getting into danger of getting them completely disoriented about the time structure and where they are in the rhythm and the beats of the song. So the solution to that, and this is just one example, this is a very, very good example, and I'm going to show you other examples later where it's not as subtle as it is here, but the solution is kind of the same. So the solution is, that you're going to try to play up the music whenever there is a gap between the singing. So that gives the singer an opportunity to hear, oh, here's where I am. Okay, I got it. Now I have to sing. Now, when the moment they're singing, their ears are kind of occupied by hearing their own voice. So technically, in order to actually continue to hear music when that is very quiet, you would have to play the music way up for that music to really penetrate the sound of their own voice in their head. You can't do that. So that's why you have to kind of juggle that, where, okay, you don't push it harder when they're singing, but they're just singing a short phrase. And then after that short phrase, there's another little space between that phrase and the next phrase of singing. So that gap, that's where you want to push the music again so that the singer can go, oh yeah, this is where I am, so now I can continue to sing. And this kind of technique, I call that punching, because you're punching the music volume into the holes that are gaps between the phrases of singing. And so this is, again, I've introduced this as a really good example for recognizing what that problem is and where the solution is. But this often happens also in situations where the music is generally quite loud and even rhythmical. However, in the music, in the lyrics, you have important lines that need to be understood better than if you play the music at full volume. And so for that also, the solution is to kind of find the balance where you can play the music a little bit quieter while the actual lines are being delivered in the singing voices. And then in between the lines, you have little gaps, little holes between the singing lines where you can actually raise the volume level of the music so that it gives more orientation to the singer, more support, more energy for the audience, and that's the solution there. So this is something that can't really be automated. You have to kind of sit at the faders, have your two fingers on these two faders or two hands on these two faders that matter, and really be on the pulse of where the singer is singing and where the lines are. And every time between the lines, you just gently move up the volume of the music track and then gently bring it back down so that it all balances out. There's an old technique, an old technology. It's called ducking. This used to be used, I don't know exactly if it's still used in radio technology. So when you have a radio station and there's a DJ who talks over the music, they have this set up automatically in their studio consoles that the signal from the microphone is feeding a strong compressor, a ducker, that is immediately and dramatically lowering the volume of whatever plays in the music as soon as the DJ talks on the microphone. So this doesn't have to be done manually, but rather it's a thing that's built into a piece of electronics in the board. It's called ducking the music by taking the signal from the microphone, and whenever there's a signal on the microphone, the music volume goes down dramatically so that you hear the DJ talk on top of the music. So that's kind of like the model, except we have to make this far, far more subtle in mixing the sound so that it comes out as a musical expression and a musical experience for the audience. So this is one example here. Let me see if I can find another one that's a little less subtle, but where I'm showing, actually I'm going to pause this for just a second. Okay, here's another section just after this. Let's listen to what happens, and then I'll comment over it. Let's listen to it first.
Ellie, it's glowing. Look, I love you. Come on. I love you.
See how the music is very tenderly coming in here.
I love you. I love you.
Doing dialogue, but still listening for the music.
Honey, listen to me. Today and every day, I will be here. I will love you. I will put no one above you. 'Cause I love your messy hair, and I love your grouchy glare. The way you dress in darkness, I love them through
Okay, so this whole stretch here was kind of all interlaced with short moments where they needed more support from the music. As they come in here, music is too quiet for orientation here. I'm punching her. I'm punching the music here so that she has more orientation there. Every time I can, between the lines, I'm ramping the music up. Balancing the two vocals. Yeah, so that's another example for how that can be done, and how punching is the solution. So this is something I want to inspire you to listen for and be on the lookout for that, and be on the faders for the music and for the vocals with your hands, and write that so that you can control the intensity of the vocals. Recognize when there is a moment of disorientation. Let's go back to this one more time here. There's one brief moment where the Kath singer is doing it, because they're doing this responding back and forth. That makes it even more difficult to orient their timing. I'll show you exactly here where this moment happens. So here's where the music comes in. Ellie starts. I'm pulling the music back. That's a mistake. The music needs to be higher. Now listen for this. Listen for Kath. Here. Now. 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 No. But that's not the spot. Okay, here it's loud enough. So generally the problem with disorientation is greater when the music is too quiet. So anyway, so now that I've introduced that problem to you, so you can listen for this as you go through your mixes, and make sure that you never play the music too quietly when it's mellow, and when there's not much structure in the texture of the music, when there's not enough time orientation. Make sure that you listen for signs of the singers kind of looking for timing. You know, you can kind of tell when they are a little bit hesitant, and then they're just kind of going for it, but they're not quite on. Those are kind of subtle, very subtle telltale signs that they don't have the optimal orientation that they need. And so that calls for the sound operator to push gently and subtly so that it doesn't turn into this like, whoa, here's where the music is. You know, you want to have it all musically and smoothly done so that it doesn't, turn into something weird. But that's why it's so important that you're always like top focus on what actually happens there. What is the interaction between the singers and the track? And do we provide enough support from the track to give the timing orientation to the singers? And if there's anything lacking, recognize those subtle signs of disorientation and fix it by subtly pushing the music and then pulling it back into place so that it's still nice to hear for the audience. And this actually turns overall, when you're really on the pulse with that, with your hands and with your ears, it turns the whole thing into a more musical and more expressive experience for everyone, because the audience's ears want to be drawn to what's important. So they want to hear the lines and what's the words, the lyrics in the lines, and then they want to also feel the support from the music. But where this is contradicting each other, you have to kind of walk this line by creating this automated, subtle mix of ducking the music, where lines of vocals have to be understood or for helping the singers with their orientation, and then just bringing the music back up so that it doesn't lose energy when the lines have little gaps between them. So I hope this teaching is something you can wrap your mind around, and if you like it, leave a comment or a question. And until next time, this is Thomas Bartke signing off.